Hi everyone, this is Jason.
And Lorraine.
And this is the Sow the Land podcast. Wow, we have not done a podcast, I think pretty much all summer, right?
Right. It's been a while.
Yeah, and guys, we had so much going on this summer. I think the last time we did this podcast was in the springtime. But yeah, we kind of doubled up our production this year, right?
We did. We had so much going on in the summertime that the podcast fell by the wayside.
Yeah, and that's just the way it goes.
But we're back.
Yeah, hopefully we're back and we can do these a little bit more regularly, because we're doing them pretty regular there for a while there, for at least a year, I think. We raised 2 pigs this summer, and we took them to the processor. We got those back. Things started to die down in the garden, and we're back to normal of our pastured poultry that we're raising. So we have a little bit more time now to do things.
But let's talk about our summer in review. I mean, for those of you who don't watch our YouTube channel and have kind of missed out on like what's going on with the Sow the Land homestead, let's briefly talk about what all went on during our summertime. So you mentioned that we got pigs. We got 2 pigs. That was a first time for us, because we've never done a larger animal. We always kind of stuck to chickens and ducks. And we got 2 pigs. We raised them.
Yeah, we raised them. They were Berkshire pigs that we really raised them for 3 months. So we got them when they were 4 months old, raised them for 3 months, and then we took them to a processor. And it was a good experience. We definitely will do pigs again. I'm not sure exactly when that'll happen, but we will do them again. And that was a huge step for us, guys. Like, we're not used to, like you said, raising bigger animals. We always stuck with chickens, and we're pretty comfortable with chickens now. It was always one of those things where I think when you start a farm or homestead, to get comfortable doing one thing, like whether that's gardening, get to a certain point where you pretty much feel comfortable. I mean, nobody is 100% expert at any of it. We're definitely not. So, but just to get to a good point where you feel that, okay, I think I kind of got the hang of this. And so with us, it was like the garden and our pastured meat chickens. We felt pretty comfortable doing the garden, and then the meat chickens, we raised more this year, twice as much than we usually do, and where it felt like at a good comfortableness with them, where we felt pretty efficient with those guys. And so then it was like, okay, what's the next step? And I've always thought that the pigs were the next level after chickens, and I still think that. Still think that's like kind of the baby steps of growing your homestead or farm, of getting comfortable with each of these animals. And so the pigs were at that next level that we needed to get to. And I never thought we would raise pigs here on our 1.5 acres. I never thought it was possible. Because after hanging out with our friend Justin Rhodes, and he showed us like how to raise pigs on a smaller scale, and I thought, okay, well, if he could do it, then maybe we could do it. And so that kind of made me be more confident to say, okay, let's try this. And so we raised them in our pig shelter that I made, which is basically kind of like a high tunnel, and then we kind of moved them in and out of there using that. I'm definitely thankful for that. I mean, you liked the high tunnel, didn't you?
I did. I liked that they could not get out. There was no way they were going to get out in the high tunnel.
Yeah, there's no question.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And you built that yourself. That took a while, and it was finished by the beginning of summertime, and the pigs were in there, and
yes,
they lived in there. But they didn't live there full time.
No, we had the portable Premier One netting, electric netting, that we kind of moved that around also, and that they definitely respected that fence right away. Like, they touched their nose against the fence, shocked them, and that was it. Like, they definitely respected that fence, but still, I mean, it's just a netting. Like, if they really wanted to, these pigs could just bulldoze right through that. And so I think with the shelter, we felt a little bit more comfortable, because I felt like it was more of a barrier for them versus just a netting. Even though, they respected it all, which was good. We did have one incident where they did escape. Well, I don't know if you could say they escaped, but they just kind of ran and took off on us when we were moving them. It was weird because we've been moving them the whole 3 months.
Yeah, the whole summer.
In and out. Like they'd be 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there. And the last 2 weeks that we were going to have them, I thought, okay, it'd be nice if we moved them out of the shelter where they're in the grass and they're outside. These last 2 weeks, let's make it really good for them. And every move went smooth.
So smooth. Like all we had to do was lead them with the bucket of food that we trained them on to follow the bucket, and they've always done that no problem. And then there was that one time.
It's the last time we were going to move them.
Yeah.
2 weeks left, and as soon as I opened their shelter door, they just kind of started running.
Yeah, and it was like they were charging and grunting and bulldozing. It was really scary.
Yeah.
It was scary for me because I always had really bad anxiety whenever we moved the pigs, even though they always had moved really well and they went peaceably and they followed the bucket. And then that one day, the last time, I was like, this is what I knew it. I knew that they were going to do something like this. This is what I always feared.
For me, I wasn't so much scared of them.
Of the pigs themselves.
The pigs themselves.
I was afraid of the pigs themselves.
I was more scared that they were going to go to another property and damage property,
Yes.
or they were going to run out in the street and get ran over by a car, or they were just going to really just take off, and we would not be able to stop them. And there's no stopping these pigs. These pigs at this point were almost
200 pounds.
Almost 250. And so they almost did run out in the street.
They almost did. They got pretty close. I don't know what they were. I don't know
know
what they wanted up there by the street, but they had never been up there before.
I think they're just very curious, maybe, and they were just kind of like roaming around. And finally, I started rubbing their bellies and giving them ear scratches, and that calmed them down, and they stopped.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, and then they started heading back down, and we put them back in the shelter, and then that's where they stayed in that shelter because that's where we felt comfortable with them. Actually, we did let them out after that, around the fence.
Oh, well, yeah, but
we
they
didn't
were
really,
still in the pig port practically.
Yeah, but we didn't move them, so.
And a lot of people who had watched that YouTube video that we know personally, other homesteaders were like, you guys were so calm. I guess I didn't think about that, but we that's how we are, even under a scary situation like that. I guess a lot of other homesteaders were like, we would have been cursing or, I don't know,
or
screaming.
Really freaking out.
Or yelling.
I thought we were freaking out. I guess that's us. That's how we freak out.
But we were inside. I mean, I was behind the camera, so you couldn't hear, the microphone couldn't pick up my voice. And I kept saying, oh my gosh, Jason, I'm so scared. Because I was afraid of the pigs themselves. I thought they were going to bite me or
run you over,
push me down to the ground, or even like our daughter Penelope, I thought they were going to find her and bite her or something. I think I was just afraid of the pigs themselves. And then I did sense your fear of the street once they got up closer to the street.
Yes.
But that's a video that's to be watched. If you have not seen that one, that's over on our YouTube channel.
Yes, we kept that camera rolling the whole time.
I know.
You know what's funny? That was only the whole time when I very first opened that door till we brought them back in. It felt like 2 hours.
It did. That's so funny. You did mention that.
Yeah, but after we saw the footage, because we kept the camera rolling and we didn't turn it off the whole time.
So the whole time we were freaking out. We were like, the pigs are going to go in the street, and we could not get them back into the pig port. That felt like 2 hours long of trying to get them under control.
And then the actual footage was only 12 minutes. It was only 12 minutes long, that whole episode there.
Yeah, and we were both really surprised. We're like, 12 minutes? It felt like hours long.
It felt like 2 hours.
It did. We were sweating. We were out of breath. I mean, after we got them back in the pig port, we did turn off the camera and we sat there.
I know.
For I don't know how long, and we just were catching our breath, and I was shaking so bad, and
yeah, we had to chill out there for a minute. We just went inside and just didn't
sat down,
do anything. Yeah, it was wild, but
because we were that's all of our hard work, and to make an investment like that on a larger animal, that's a lot of money, especially for us smaller homesteads. That's a lot of money. and for them to just be hit by a car or to damage a neighbor's property or something. So I think that was a big fear on our part, was like, that's our investment, you know. We cannot lose that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we got new pigs, we raised them, and then we butchered them, and we brought the meat home. And that was such a wonderful experience that we got to experience for the first time as growing homesteaders. I felt like, wow, this is like next level. Bring home our pork.
Yes, that was a good experience. I mean, we didn't, you know, process or butcher ourselves here, but we did end up selling one, and that was one of the reasons why we did not do it ourselves. One, I don't even have the equipment, and I knew we wanted to sell one, and so rather than just take one to the processor, I just ended up just taking both. And it was very convenient.
Yeah, it was convenient. I like that.
And they probably, you know, of course they do a better job than I can ever do, you know, as far as
just starting it, just with our knowledge.
Yeah, as far as being, you know, I'm sure they're more efficient with the cuts, and the processor was very helpful on figuring that stuff out too, and working with us, because we had never taken any animal to a processor like that. You know, we had total control of what cuts we wanted, and even the other pig that we sold,
and even the ingredients as well as what went into,
yes,
like say sausage or bacon or something. We had total control of that, and I really liked that.
Yeah, it was great. Like it's yeah, we can never go back to store-bought pork again. Like, this is like spoiled us of once you get, it's like raising like meat chickens, you know, for the first time. You're like, wow, you know, you just cannot go back. Like, if you know, if we're able and, you know, able to keep on doing this, I you know, I would hope that we could always.
And it's like a little taste of food security too, to have all of this chicken and all of this pork, like 200 pounds of pork in our freezer. And it's like, oh, wow, this is like really nice. We don't have to go to the grocery store as often as we were. I mean, we already didn't have to go too much because we have a nice bountiful garden, and we raised all of our chicken for the last, 4 years?
Yeah, to go back to the chickens that we raise, you know, we usually raise 60 a year. This year we raised about 120. We still have 60 meat chickens currently right now. And then another thing we did this summer was we started doing workshops. We held our first workshop, and this is like very just one-on-one.
And this is a chicken butchering workshop.
Yeah, chicken butchering workshop. And this is just very small, one-on-one.
Yeah. This is not like a massive crowd of people.
No.
This is just like one-on-one.
Yeah, we had like 2 people.
Yeah, and it went really well.
Yeah, it was just very simple, quiet, easy. You know, it was a good day, and the people that came out, they were really nice, and they just really wanted to learn.
They were very thankful.
Yeah, and it was a good experience for being our first like official workshop, I think, and I hope we can do more of those.
Right.
So, you know, with all those animals plus our garden, like, it all kept us pretty busy. Right. You know, I built a new stationary chicken coop this summer for we have about 15 egg layers now. If you remember, we had 3 ducks. We ended up losing 2, and then we had 1 left, and it was a male.
Yeah, you can't just keep just a male duck.
Yeah, the male, if we were to throw the male in with the chickens, the male would just be harassing the chickens, and it just would not turn out well. So rather than keep the male, we just ended up just butchering him and putting him in our freezer. And I mean, I just didn't want a predator to come and get him or something.
Yeah, because he was all alone, and that's a sad duck if he's all alone. So.
Yeah, it just makes me like, you know, we didn't get to do anything with the other 2 ducks.
I know,
but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They were good animals, and they lived a good life.
Yeah, I never was a fan of the ducks anyway.
Well, they were messy. They were very messy.
It's like all the water that
there's a lot of
they
water.
need. It's just...
It started to turn swampy over there.
Yeah, just smelly, and they're just very messy, and I just was not a fan.
And they didn't take to our creek like we thought they would. That would have just been better if they just hung out by the creek and did all of their swimming and bathing over there. But they didn't, and so we tried it out, and that's something that maybe just didn't work at this point in our homestead. Maybe in the future, but because Penelope really liked the ducks.
Yeah, they definitely were entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah. So another thing that has happened just recently is we started school again. And for those of you who don't know, we homeschool. We have one child, and we homeschool. We started school last week. And so far it's been going really well. And we've been homeschooling her since the beginning. And she loves it this year. I mean, every year it's different, so it looks different. And so there are she's a normal child, so there are some days where she's like, meh. And then there's some days where she's like, I love school. This is fantastic. Yeah. So she's really loving it so far. We've only had 1 week, so and it's been going good.
Speaking of good, what's been really good is that einkorn. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, einkorn.
What is that?
We've just recently tried out einkorn wheat. And for those of you who know, we have been a gluten-free family for many, many, many years.
What would you say, 10 years?
You have been almost 10 years, and then maybe Penelope and I, less than that, maybe like 7. So yeah, we've been gluten-free for a long time. It's just been more of a sensitivity rather than like celiac disease. And so we've learned how to just adapt without having gluten in our home, which was hard in the beginning because I used to make homemade bread like all the time back in the day, even with like organic wheat. And we just had both of us had so many sensitivities, and that was when we were living in California.
Just like mainly like skin issues.
Skin issues.
I feel like, for me anyways.
Yeah. Skin issues. And then so we went gluten-free. We've been healthy, and we haven't had any issues. And so I've done some research on einkorn wheat, and it's an ancient grain. It's one of the many ancient grains, or not so many ancient grains that are out there. And einkorn specifically has a low gluten profile, which means it doesn't have a whole lot of the gluten protein in it. And so I thought we would try it out. And I've been wanting to do it for such a long time, but I've just hesitated, 1, for financial reasons, and 2, because it's pretty expensive, and 2, like I was just hesitant to bring gluten into our home, because I was like, well, once we bring gluten into our home, that's it, it's here. And I didn't want to deal with like skin issues or illnesses or tummy aches or whatever. And so one day I was just like, you know what, we're gonna do it. And I bought some einkorn, and this was like, right, I don't know why I decided to do it then. Oh, I know why. This was right when the pandemics first came about, and everybody was rushing around to get grain mills. And I don't know why, but I know why that I felt a need to try the einkorn, because everyone was going out and buying everything up at the grocery store, and we couldn't get our gluten-free bread. We don't eat a whole lot of it, but Penelope likes a sandwich every now and then, or some toast. And so we couldn't find that anywhere. And so I was like, it would be nice if I could just make my own loaves of bread instead of having to rely on going to the grocery store. That was another thing on the back of my mind. Like, I wanted to be sustainable here at home. And there was like a lot of ingredients in these gluten-free breads that just seemed so processed to me. Long story short, I'm ending it. And so I went out and I purchased some einkorn berries, and I found an used grain mill on a Facebook marketplace. It's a hand crank, and which I was like, that's fine, because I'm not going to be grinding that much wheat. And so we are grinding einkorn into flour, and I've been experimenting, and we've had biscuits and tortillas.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
We haven't been having a lot of it. We wanted to introduce it slowly, and so far we have not had any sensitivities.
No.
We haven't had any issues.
It's actually really good. I mean, yeah, like you said, we're not devouring it every single day.
Right.
I think that's key too.
Right.
But yeah, when we occasionally want to have some bread stuff, like, it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't figured out the whole bread loaf sandwich slices thing, but I do have like the right tools and materials, so I just need to figure that part out.
Plus, it's kind of fun to hand crank the flour, I think, because we all take turns whenever Lorraine's like, oh, I gotta crank some more flour out. Right. So Penelope gets on it, she starts cranking, I get on it. So it's kind of fun as a family. It
was fun at first. It was novel at first, and then after 4 cups later, I'm like, does anyone else want to crank the wheel? I'm getting kind of tired here. It's a good workout. I do have to be thankful that I have a hand crank, so it's a good workout.
It's a nice hand crank.
Yeah, it's very nice quality.
It's sturdy, super sturdy.
The Wondermill Junior hand crank, and it's very sturdy. It's well made. Yeah. So we've been enjoying einkorn bread type things, and that's what's been very nice for us this summer.
Maybe we'll do a video on einkorn. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be fun. We are no experts on einkorn or making like sourdough breads or anything like that. That is so almost new to us because we haven't done it in many years.
We don't eat bread. We don't have normal bread.
Right. But a video would be fun, I think, as we experiment with different things. I don't know if maybe our YouTube crowd might want to see something like that. Our YouTube channel has been growing.
Or I think it was like a month ago.
I think it was a month ago.
Yeah, we hit 100,000 subscribers.
That's so exciting.
Which, that just, it took...
How long have we been doing this?
We've been doing YouTube, I think, for about 3.5 years.
Yes.
About a year after we moved here is when we started our channel. And, it took us this long to reach that. And, it's just something that I never would imagine that we would be doing, the YouTube thing. It just, because I just never thought about it, actually. I think if we would not have moved here, I don't think we would have even started a YouTube channel. Right.
I didn't know it. I guess it's more popular now to be a vlogger. Yeah. And I still don't even like I can't even wrap my brain around that. There are some days where it's hard for me to be on camera.
Yeah, it is hard.
It is hard. I'm not saying it's easy for anybody. Well, maybe it is easy for some people, but it's not easy for me. I think because both of us were introverts and trying to have to talk a lot is hard. Whereas like we're more artists and we think, beautiful pictures and and creating art is something that we're good at, but like having to
talk and explain things is difficult for us guys. Like, I don't know if you can notice that in our videos, but it's very difficult for us introverts to explain how to do something
or explain something that's in our heart or in our minds that we want to just get out into words. It's not easy for introverts, but
and talking on camera like how we're doing now.
But we force ourselves to do it, and somehow we're here.
We keep doing it. I'm hoping that, I think the more we do it also, like, the more we get used to the idea, or more, I guess it's all practice is what it is. We're just practicing. I don't know what we're practicing for, but we're just practicing. The more we're in front of the camera, the next thing you know, we're doing speaking engagements, and that's, I think, without the camera, there was no way I'd be in front of people talking, like how we have done before. And so it's just all like a practice. It's all practice. And so it's tough though. It's tough.
Yeah, but for some reason you all just love us, and we want to thank all of our YouTube subscribers for helping us get to 100,000. That's so awesome, and we're so thankful.
Yeah, we appreciate that, guys. We'll keep on putting out this content and see where it goes. Now that we're in this transition, I feel, of going in from summer to fall. Now is the time to plant fall garden stuff. We already started seeds for our fall garden.
We did. It's probably time to get them in the ground now.
Yeah, we turned over some beds already to get them ready for those plant starts to put in the ground, and we already direct seeded some seeds into some of the rows in our garden, and then like a lot of the stuff in the garden that was in spring summer kind of is dying now. It's either dying or died off, like our zucchini. No more zucchini.
We're done with the zucchini and the green beans, and the tomatoes got blight.
Yeah, we got a lot of rain this year.
We had a ton
this summer.
of rain.
Like I think pretty much every day it rained in the summer.
Yes.
So the tomatoes they did okay.
Yeah, we've
still
gotten so many tomatoes. I've been busy canning. We canned green beans, we canned tomatoes, we canned carrots even, because we had a really good carrot harvest.
Yeah, the beet crop, the beets and carrots were really good. Right now we still have some squashes, right?
Yeah, the squash and the pumpkins.
Yeah,
we still have
those are growing. Not have produced anything yet, but we still have some time on those guys. So yeah, I mean, I think right now is the starting to fall, and actually I can't be any happier about fall. I love the fall weather.
I love the fall. The weather's just gorgeous, and everything is pumpkin and spice. And
I got up this morning and I think it was like 58 degrees.
Oh, nice.
I got up early this morning, like right when the sun was coming up, and it was like 58. Like it was actually sweater weather.
Sweater weather. It has been feeling like that lately. We've been having some unusual cool weather. Unusually. It's just, I feel like usually here in Western North Carolina in August, and I know this because Penelope's birthday is at the end of August, so I always think back to Penelope's birthday, and it's always really hot, like really, really hot. And I'm like, this is the end of summer. Like, I don't feel like we've had any 90-degree weather except for those few days in spring when we first got the pigs.
Yes. I think in springtime it was like 92 when we first brought the pigs home.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been 80. It's been in the high 80s for the summer, and now this week and next week it's just going to start cooling down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it the end of summer already? Are we starting into fall? I'm ready for it. I love fall. I can have fall all year round.
Our sunflowers are dead.
Sunflowers are dead.
So that's when you know end of summer's here.
And the goldenrod, one of our old-timey neighbors out here told us that whenever you see the goldenrod out, cold weather is right around the corner.
Yeah, and we saw it out.
Oh, it's been out, yeah. It's been out for like a good 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then what's exciting too, guys, is we have air conditioning in our house now.
I know.
I just installed a mini split, which is an AC and a heater.
Yes.
And we haven't had both for like 2 years.
We haven't. It's been about 2 years. We've lived here for 4, and the first year we really didn't use it because we didn't know it even worked. So we turned it on at the end of summer. We're like, oh, okay, it sort of works. And then the next year, it sort of worked. It didn't really work that great, and then it finally blew out last year. So this year we attempted to not have AC. It was just completely miserable in here. It made it impossible to just do anything inside the house because it was so hot. And so finally we splurged and got a mini split, and you installed it yourself, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
Yes, it's been very nice. I can't believe it. Yes. Yeah, I'm curious to see how good the heater's going to work on it. We haven't tested it out yet, but last year we heated all with our wood stove. That was
a chore. That was a chore to do because you're constantly feeding our little tiny wood stove with little tiny wood. And so that was a chore to keep up.
Yeah, you just have to always chop the wood, and that was our only heat. I mean, besides for like a space heater for our room or something like that, but for the whole house, like that was it. And so I'm kind of excited. I would hope that I wouldn't have to do as much chopping wood this year, and hopefully that mini split can help with that. We've been posting this podcast on our Sow the Land YouTube channel, but I recently started another YouTube channel, which is Sow the Land Podcast. So if you search Sow the Land Podcast on YouTube, our YouTube channel should pop up. We don't hardly have any subscribers right now. It's just brand new. So I'm going to be posting all of our podcast episodes that we do on that new channel. I started posting our older podcasts on there already. So if you can, please go hit that subscribe button on our new Sow the Land Podcast channel. We want to build that up as much as we can. And we're still posting our regular videos on our Sow the Land YouTube channel also. It's just I wanted to kind of keep them separate, I think. And also, you can also listen to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, all those podcast apps. But we appreciate you guys watching.
And listening.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.